Right, take it away, Phil.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the invite and for having me. Um, my brief talk is on it's called Codex Obscura Ruby Edition. Just a few things, very lesser known features of Ruby. I did pick some that are hopefully production useful as opposed to some truly useless ones, like the fact that if you recompile Ruby with a certain flag, it supports Go to. Who knew that one? Don't do it. Bad idea. So first up, RSED, Ruby is a stream editor. Um, if you are not familiar with sed or awk, these are command line tools that let you iterate over all the lines in either an input stream or files, whatever, and do various things on them. But if you're not at the command line often enough, you very regularly forget the particular syntax to do something. So you can actually use Ruby to do that for you. So invocation Ruby minus NE and then your expression, or minus PE, and I'll show you the difference shortly. So minus NE doesn't have an implicit print. Minus PE has the implicit print. So these three examples will all print the lines from input.txt. And basically anything that you put inside that E command, you can do whatever you want with the stream. Each line of the stream is automatically assigned to the $_ global variable. And if you are using the minus P, which as the implicit print, then you'll want to modify it directly. So if you're doing a G sub, you'll want to do like G sub exclamation point on it. And also the unary operator, the tilde operator with no left-hand side, will match implicitly against the global variable that is assigned to each line. There's actually a whole bunch more command line options, including the ability, if you pass the minus N switch, to automatically split the input line and put that into a variable, and then you can do all sorts of fun stuff. But basically this, if you need to reach for sed once in a while and you're like, I can never remember what the exact syntax is to do what I want, this will hopefully help you do that a little more efficiently. Um, the second one that I was like, oh, this is a good one, pattern matching. It has been in Ruby for a while, since 2.7, and it is criminally underused. And I wanted to point out a couple cool things you can do just with one subset of the pattern matching. And that is the destructuring of a thing into multiple local variables. So you've got an array into multiple uh, single local variables, or you can take a hash and you can dump it into just the bits of that hash that you want. So that's sort of JavaScript style destructuring. You don't need all the keys. You can just grab what you want. Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. So 1, 2, 3 into A, B, C. That's great. A, C, and D and E keys. Oh, I just want C key. That's great. That'll assign that to C, the local variable. 1 through 10, turn it into an array, and let's get A, B, and the rest into C. Getting a little more advanced here. You want to get even crazier. We would like to take that first line there, and what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with A having 1, C will be equal to D, and 2 and 3 will be equal to B, or B will have 2 and 3. So you can take bits and pieces of hashes and you can nest it. Um, as far as I remember, arbitrary levels of nesting. It's been a while since I've done something truly advanced with this. But it is handy if you want to just grab bits and pieces of certain data you have coming in. And you can also use it for grabbing parts of an array when when you have other unwanted bits. So this final example here, you are going to end up with the string S in the variable A, and you're going to end up with nothing else. So basically a way of grabbing just bits and pieces of what you want if you don't know what all's in that array, and you're like, I just want the first string that you can find. This will give you the first string that it can find. And the third thing I wanted to touch on and hopefully remind people of is equally fancy, the triple equals, uh, which is not used in Ruby like it is in other languages. So pretty straightforward. Thing is triple equal to others thing. It's also used in the case statement. It's used as the way to match the condition against whatever you're passing in. Whatever's in the case will match against the when. How to use this guy. Implement it on your class. It's just an operator. Much like all the other operators in Ruby, it's actually just a method that's called on the object at hand. So you just have to implement it on your class if you want to use it. Beyond the straight usage of triple equals or then, it's also used in enumerable grep. It's used in the array triple equals, which basically means array triple equals basically runs triple equals for each element of the array. So you could do something like check if an array matches a pattern of class types. So you could have like two strings and an integer. Does my array match this pattern? Does it have two strings and an int in it? And you can use triple equals for that. It's also used in rescue clauses. The type of exception that is being passed and dumped into your variable is checked using triple equals, and it's used in pattern matching. Remember that conceptually, it's basically the opposite of triple equals in PHP and JS, which use that as a strict equality. You're not going to get what you expect if you use it in Ruby, and it's super useful. But remember the principle of least astonishment. Don't go doing crazy things with triple equals and having funky case statements that you yourself won't be able to read an hour later because you've forgotten the exact magic that you decided to put in place, which happens far too often. Just a reminder, Ruby is full of amazing secrets. These are just three of them. There is a whole bunch of cool stuff that Ruby does that is often overlooked, and especially when you're just working day in, day out, on pretty standard Ruby on Rails app, you don't realize what sort of the options are that the language can do for you and what choices you might have. So don't be afraid to explore. There's lots of cool resources out there. And a couple resources, Idiosyncratic Ruby has a whole bunch of ways that you can do some cool stuff in Ruby, including I think it's 201 ways of expressing the string literal R that are all different. And then also Dusty Recesses of My Brain were resources, and then Claude, and I have to call it the AI one because I have a coworker named Claude, and it's a running joke at our company. Which Claude are you referring to? And thank you very much. That's my talk.
Nice. Thank you. Very cool. Awesome. Thank you. Any questions? I'd love to know more real world, besides there's just destructuring. Has people used like real world pattern matching? It's interesting, but I always wonder how clever it looks in like production code.
Not with that format. We've used pattern matching in dry-RB, because I worked in dry-RB for a while. So we use some similar strategies. We didn't use that particular Ruby pattern that you showed, but it can be super helpful for checking inputs, to make sure that you're getting the right things into your methods.
Okay.
And like be able to reject if like there's something, or if you're getting unclean inputs, you can use it to sort out what you want to grab.
Seeing like web scraping or the API, something or other.
Yeah, for APIs and just if you're approaching Ruby in a more functional process, where you're expected to always know what's coming in and what's going out, having the capacity to use that is really helpful for clarity and like making sure that you're not inputting stuff in your database that's
Sure.
not real.
Anybody else? Thoughts? Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it.